The royal family of Bhutan travelled to Perth in Australia for an audience with citizens of Bhutan living and working in Western Australia. More than 19,000 Bhutanese registered and turned up at the HBF Park to warmly receive King Jigme Khesar of Bhutan. Despite the weather, there were long queues as people braved the drizzles and cold to see the monarch who is almost considered a god in Bhutan. The number of registered people was so big that the king had to have 2 events, so that he can accommodate all of the registered attendees. The western state of Australia has the largest Bhutanese community in Australia, and the event was done in 2 days. The king started his visit in Sydney, then Canberra, in a bid to deep relations between Canberra and Thimphu. While in Perth with his wife and kids, the king made a solo visit to the Perth Mint, a company that has employed around 20 Bhutanese who were excited and over the moon because of the visit. They even took a picture with His Majesty and their boss Mr. Paul Graham. In Perth, the king met with Honourable Roger Cook, who is the head of the government of the state of Western Australia, and also a member of the Legislative Assembly. The meeting included the Minister of Mines and Petroleum, Ports, Road and Safety Mr. David Michael, also serving in the Legislative Assembly. Apart from politicians, the king granted audience to Indian spiritual leader and founder of the Art of Living Foundation, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, who is also on a tour in Australia. They discussed about the Galifu Mindfulness City, a project the king is undertaking in Bhutan. The family of 5 walked into a packed stadium to wondrous cheers and waves from the attendees. The display of regality by the Queen with their youngest Princess Sonam in her arms was celebrated with those in attendance anticipating to find the chance to take a picture with the Queen. While the Queen was in her ever-fashionable Bhutanese attire made up of a long wrap skirt and fitting silk top, Princess Sonam was in a baby blue dress and a white sweater. She has a matching bluish bow on her head with wisps of her hair falling to her face. The 2 princes were playful and full of cheer as they interacted with the audience and at times were seen being relatable siblings. The 3 have been personable and approachable throughout the meets and greets across the 3 Australian cities. The king and queen went around the sitting areas interacting with people and listening to them. They received gifts ranging from paintings and flowers as they hugged, greeted and took pictures with them. It was a picture of a down-to-earth leaders who care for their citizens both at home in Bhutan and overseas. This in turn filled the attendees with pride of their king and their country, who many said want to be part of the success story going forward. Just like in both Sydney and Canberra, the representatives of the Mindfulness City project gave an update of its development and welcomed the people in Perth to join in as investors, giving ideas and supporting it. The king, while speaking to them, said he was all in the project, because it will improve the lives of Bhutanese people and change the country. The people receives blessings and the Queen even gave some of them autographs, which is a once-in-a-lifetime thing to happen to anyone. The diplomatic display of the royals just undid them to the Bhutanese people, as well as other global fans, who gave a positive review of the king's trip and all that he had accomplished without any drama or negative headlines from the royals and the Bhutanese people in Australia. As they wind up their tour, other Bhutanese people in other countries surely are hoping that someday the king will visit the nations in which they reside in for them to have this experience with him. The introduction of the young royals to public engagements at their young age will enable them to grasp the full meaning of service to the people and hence chart their path to success for their nation when the time comes to hand over the baton to the next generation. It also instills in them the value of unity in supporting each other to accomplish the best for the Bhutanese people.